He got problems, she got problems, only I got 411 problems. Say hi, what's up, y'all? It's time for another story time, and welcome to my neighbor's abuse. So, I gave the trigger warning, but let's get into it. Everyone at some point in time in any type of relationship, not just romantic, has been abused mentally, physically, verbally. Men and women. Abusers are men and women. There's most of the time you see men are highlighted because women are more vocal. Men unfortunately are not able to be as vocal as women because their manhood is challenged about them speaking up, about them showing emotion. And then when they snap, then it's like, why didn't you say anything? And most of the time they do. It's just they're ridiculed for it. So instead of adding ridicule onto the plate, they keep it to themselves and kind of deal with it. When in reality, that's not love. If a woman is talking to you reckless repeatedly on a constant basis, if you have visit some kind of therapy, visit some kind of church, something to where you can fix it and it doesn't change, that's manipulation and abuse. I wanted to keep my heat on, but it seems like I'll be talking over it. But yeah, so we've all been abused in some way, in some shape or form, in some kind of relationship. Even in friendship, there's abuse, there's manipulation. And unfortunately, it happens more often than people talk about. Okay, so this story takes place, and I am, for those who know, who watch my vlogs, y'all know I live in an extended stay. This month, next month, you'll figure out why we're still in the extended stay. Plans were just to be there, stack some money for a little bit, and then move. But you'll find out through story times why we're still in the extended stay. So yeah. Anyway, this is during we're in the extended stay, and this was before the extended stay was renovated. The walls are still thin. The walls are still thin. They just painted differently. They just look differently. They didn't go through and like refurbish or what is it called? Sheetrock. They didn't go through and re-sheetrock the wall. I told y'all, like, my mom was handy. She can fix cars. She can build. My mama didn't wait around for no man to do nothing. So my mama was the epitome of an example of, I was married, I tried it, she tried it twice, it did not make me happy. Single, she was happy as hell. So just because you're single, and this is for men and women, does not mean you are lonely. Hold on. So yeah, so let's get into it. So when I first moved into the extended stay, as I told y'all before, I am surrounded by neighbors. So I have neighbors above me. I have neighbors on both sides of me. I have neighbors below me, and I have neighbors behind me. I have one set of neighbors behind me. So I'm surrounded. I'm surrounded pretty much by neighbors. And for this to work, especially, it's not just like, because I know when people think like, girl, it's a hotel. Yes, I know it's a hotel. But the plethora of people that live there, corporate, doctors, nurses, because people, of course, did not want to sign a lease. You're not under a lease there, especially a lot of travel nurses. And then they have certain deals, like if you leave, you're not in the room, but you want your stuff to be, when you leave and you're not in the unit, and you want your stuff to be stored there, they give you like a cheaper price than if you were there to store your stuff there. And like it's written like, hey, this is storage or whatever. Because even for the weekend, like if I'm not going to be there, they'll be like, hey, we'll give you a cheaper rate for this amount if you're not going to be here from this time to this time. But most of the time I'm there because finances. Anyway, or Ty is there because Ty works weekends. Now he works weekends. So yeah, so it's like the community. Once you get there, like, you know who's who. Like, as far as like me with my parking space, like, they know my car, they know this other man's car. The new neighbor who just moved below me now, they know his, like, I know his car. But there's certain, like, you just know certain neighbors' cars, like certain ones of us have now picked certain parking spaces. So it's like, oh, which car parked there, this person parked here, this person is home, like, you know, so to speak. Some of us has been there for a long time. Some people have been there longer than me. Like, when I first moved in there, people had been there for like 6 years or more because it was cheaper. It was cheaper. So anyway, when I first moved in, the neighbors beside me on this end, we're just gonna say the neighbors on the right, it was a grandma. I'm assuming it was his grandma. It was a grandma and her boyfriend and then her grandson. I don't think that was her son, but he was going through certain issues and they was going through certain things. And I couldn't understand because that room, if I'm not mistaken, that unit, if I'm not mistaken, is a 1 bed. So it's like, why is he in there? And so I truly believe that he had went to school and said certain things, because they came and monitored, and they came and kept asking questions, and then within, I would say, like 2 to 3 weeks, they were gone. So the next neighbor, it was kind of quiet for a while, and so the next neighbor that moved in, what we gonna name her? I'm gonna give her a name. I'm trying to think of a name. I said I was gonna do better than this. Oh, no. Paula moves in. And so when she moves in, at this point in time, on the complete opposite end of the row that I live on, there's an elderly lady. We're gonna call her Chicago. We don't call her Chicago because that's where she's from. So we don't call her Chicago. So Paula and Chicago hung out. Like, once Paula moved in, like, when she first moved in, it looked like she was by herself. And then all of a sudden this dude started showing up. And she was like, oh, that's my husband. That's my husband. That's my husband. Right? So, Paula and Chicago used to hang out all the time, which was crazy because Chicago was there before I moved in and before Paula moved in. Paula moved in after me. Paula moved in, I would say, 4 to 5 months after I moved in. Chicago never came outside. Like, you would see Chicago here and there, but she would never come outside, right? And so here's when I started to notice with that people were watching me. So Chicago and Paula started hanging out a lot to the point where they were getting chairs and certain things and sitting out on the balcony and watching traffic. And watching traffic, because our balcony faces, like, you can see the parking lot. So you can see, like, traffic going. So at this point in time, we are allowed to be on the balcony in the walkway. So they used to get chairs out of their unit or out of Paula's unit and sit beside Paula's door and just watch traffic, watch people run their mouth or whatever. And then after a certain point in time, most of the time they were going in Paula's room and have their little drinking parties, whatever they was doing, having a little good time and dancing and singing. If I still have that snap, I'm going to insert the snap, because this one particular night, it was Chicago's birthday, or it was like that week, it was her birthday. So they were celebrating Chicago's birthday, so to speak. They like 60. I was introduced to Chicago because, again, Chicago was coming to, like, I would see her and she would say, hey, how you doing? And I would say, hey, and then I go, in my unit and mind my business, which is what I do no matter where I stay. But she, of course, with her being in Paula's room all the time, like, she was closer to me. Like, so if I'm walking in or if I'm walking up or whatever, they she would have more to say, so to speak. She would have more to say. The most she had to say in the beginning was when I moved in with the dude for like 24 to 48 hours. Check out that story time. I'll put in the link. I was putting my stuff back like in my unit, because literally it was literally 24 to 48 hours, because I had asked the dude and I was like, can you just wait? If you go to that story time, you will understand what I'm talking about. Even though it's all over the place, I'm not gonna lie, because I was watching TV. So I've gotten better with my story times, because I make sure I turn the TV off, or I'm here, like I'm making sure I'm focused with y'all. So yeah, so I was moving my stuff back in my unit after leaving his stuff, because they had watched him move all my stuff out, and then I moved my stuff back in. And so Chicago was like, oh, they have like like the little thing where you can use the elevator and you can take your stuff at one time. And I was like, I'm good. She was like, oh, okay. That was the most she had said to me, besides, hey, how you doing? So at this point in time, I'm wearing scrubs because I'm on a contract. I'm on a contract, so I'm wearing scrubs. And so she had taken something, or she had put something on her skin to where her skin had contracted so tight, she had like this allergic reaction. And so she came to me and she had bammed on my door. And I was like, because Ty was like, who is that? Because nobody don't come to my unit. Nobody even knew really where I was. You know what I'm saying? Nobody still don't know really where I am, to be totally honest. Which is how I like it. But Ty was like, who is that? And I was like, I don't know. So I was like, open the door. So he opens the door, and she was standing there like this. And so she was like, you a nurse, right? You a medical, right? And she had asked me that before, and I was like, yeah, what's going on? And so she was like, I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. Basically, she had over medicated. So she had took certain things internally, and then she had put certain things on her skin, and so she was having this huge allergic reaction. I told her what to do, because she was like, my man want to take me to the ER. She was like, but I was like, no, the nurse down there. Because they saw me wear scrubs, they, it's like, oh, you a nurse. I wasn't a nurse, I'm an MA, but yeah. So I was like, but I could tell her, I knew what was going on. I could tell her what to do. Same thing they was gonna tell her in the ER. I told her what to do. And so she was like, okay, I'm gonna send my man right now. And so she went back to her room, which was most of the time, she went back to her unit, which was most of the time why she was always in Paula's unit, is because she had a man, and her man was home by 4:30. So, and her man wasn't hearing all that. And then she had a one bed unit. So you're limited for space. Paula is limited for space as well, because that's a one bed unit. But the husband was seen coming like in and out. He wasn't there consistently. So let me move. So she, after that, it was like she was she was inseparable from me. Anytime she would see me, she would say, oh, that's the girl that saved my life. That's the girl that saved my life. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, she was really jacked up. I'm not even gonna front. She was really jacked up, because she was like, I don't want to go to the hospital. And I was like, if this doesn't work, you're gonna have to go. But it worked. But I kind of understood, so to speak, because it's like I saved you money too, so I kind of understood. Or when her son would come to visit, she'd be like, "That's her who saved my life. She a pretty girl, ain't she, baby? I don't want your son. It's not that he was unattractive, but I don't want your son." Or even like one of my homeboys that came over, and so she's like, "You saved my life, hey girl," and so he was like, "Oh, you out here saving lives?" It was like something like that. Anyway. But after that, she, of course, has been very, very vocal. And so during this time when it was her birthday, like when she would see me, but again, she was in and out of Paula's room and they were doing this partying type situation. And so she was like, I started to knock on your door last night because I wanted you to take my pictures for my birthday. And I was like, you with Paula? Like, Paula could have took your pictures. And I was like, oh, okay, well, why you didn't knock? She was like, I don't know. She was like, I should have knocked on your door, but I didn't knock on your door. And I was like, oh, it's okay. And I was like, well, happy birthday. And I left it alone, right? So lo and behold, I noticed her and Paula now are kind of separating. So let me back up a little bit. Chicago and this other girl from further down on the opposite end got into an argument. Chicago is very talkative, very vocal, very people person. So she talks to everybody. And if you ask her a question, she's gonna tell you, like, straight up, there's no sugarcoat, and she's gonna tell you how she feel. So apparently, according to the street committee, the girl's boyfriend asked her, like, for advice on what he should do about the girl, because he was like, I'm tired. So this couple, they were on the other end, but end up moving to the unit on the other side of me after that couple she caught him cheating in that story time. I'll put in the link. After she caught him cheating, they moved in the unit on the opposite side of me. Paula is on the right side. This couple is on the left side. So they moved further, they moved on this end. Anyway, so the girl, I guess the boy, like, because they would go back and forth, they'll be beefing, they'll be fighting, like, we'll hear it, but it wasn't as bad as the previous couple. So whatever they was arguing about this specific time, it had to do with Chicago giving him advice, or Chicago saying, hey, like, you deserve better or whatever. So she had her unit door open and waiting for Chicago to pass by, because she knew Chicago was always going to Paula's room, so to Paula's unit. So yeah, so she was waiting. It was like midday, somewhere in that, and it was the weekend, because I can hear it. If it was during the week, I wouldn't have heard it because I would have been at work. Well, but my schedule, like, I worked early. I always like early schedules because I want to be done early. So it had to be after 12. I know that. So she caught Paula, Chicago was walking by going to Paula's room. And so the girl was like, oh, I've been waiting for you to pass by. So I'm tuned in. I'm not standing in the window. I'm listening. Because again, even if you're in your unit, the walls are thin. Number one, if you're screaming, the walls are thin. I can hear you. I can hear you getting your get on, just like you probably can hear me getting my get on. So the walls are that thin. I'm thinking about Ty making a joke about somebody else. The walls are that thin. I probably need to tell that story time too. Not with Ty, but something that I did. The walls are that thin. Anyway, so I'm thinking about the other story. Sorry, y'all. So they wasn't in the unit. Like, remember I told y'all she had the door open. So with her having the door open, she was waiting for her to walk by. So they're in the balcony. So I can hear, because that means you're right there by my door. So I can hear. All I have to do is mute my TV or turn it off. And I can hear clear as day. hear everything you saying. So when I heard her say, "Oh, I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you to pass by," baby, put that TV on mute and let's listen. Let's tune in. My antennas are up. So I'm listening, and so Chicago. And here's the thing: Chicago is a little bit taller than me. The girlfriend was like 5'9", 6'1", but Chicago didn't back down. I don't know why I would keep wanting to call her Paula. Chicago didn't back down. So Chicago was like, all into it, going back and forth with the girl, right? So the girl was like, "So you telling my man what to do? You telling my man to leave me? You telling my man not to be around me? You telling my man not to be with me? Is that what you telling? You need to mind your business. You need to mind your business." So Chicago was like, "Baby, I can tell anybody whatever I want to tell him. When your man come to ask me, when he come to ask me information, when he come to ask me my opinion, I'm going to give it to him. Yes, you need to step up. You need to do better by the baby. Yes, you need to get a job. Get off your lazy fat and do something." Girl, now you're a little too invested. Now, if the man asked you a question, okay, I can kind of see you giving some kind of advice, but right now you sound like you a little too invested, and you don't even know this boy like that. Like, we all kind of cool, but you don't know him like that. So the girl said, "I tell you one thing, I tell you one thing." So the dude was like, hey, back up, because clearly you was somewhere else when it started. But you can hear people, if you ever paid attention to like my vlogs, or it might have been a story time where you can hear them kids running, not just upstairs, in the front. And I'll be like, kids, you can hear, like if somebody is walking hard or if they running, you can hear them on the balcony like that. So you can hear him running like, hey. And he kind of, he pushing them back. Because at this point in time, like I'm doing like this. Like, because you don't want to be too noticeable. Like, but you want to know, you want to get some stuff. At this point in time, I'm not vlogging. So no, I don't have none of that. Anyway, so he kind of broke it. Like, they went back and forth for a little more words, and then, they kind of dispersed. So you can hear the girl saying, "That little old lady need to mind her business. People already saying how she run her mouth. People already saying how she nosy and how she be spreading rumors. She need to mind her business before I beat her old." And I was like, dang. So at this point in time, like, her and Paula are still cool. Editing Angel here. I forgot to tell y'all, her and Paula had got into an argument with another set of girls. It was actually sisters, and they had moved from another extended state to this one over here. But the girls was going back and forth with Chicago and Paula. Basically, like, they was calling the sisters 304s, and the sisters got wind of it about them, having transactional situations here. But so basically they was going back and forth, and they was like, "Oh, the 304s stay on that end," basically like from Paula's unit on down, and the good girls stay down here. And so Paula was like, "Girl, I got a husband. Like, I'm just listening to them talk about this argument going back and forth over and over. And I was like, "Girl, your husband barely here." But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so they was always in some stuff. Okay, so we got that out of the way. I wanted to like lay the ground rules of, Chicago. So here we get to the point where I noticed Chicago and Paula are separate. Like, they're not really hanging out. They're not really like partying like they used to. Like, they used to be in each other's unit all the time, but mostly in Paula's. So this one particular day, like, I run to Chicago, might have been in the laundry room. Because there was times when, like, I had a certain schedule for laundry room where I try to go in there when nobody's in there. So, and I could just use the washers and go and be done. So it might have been in the laundry room where I, ran into Chicago. And so she's talking. And so she says, Paula don't mess with me no more. She don't mess with me no more. And I was like, oh, really? What happened? And so she was like, she said that like I'm blocking for her kids to come over because Paula kids didn't live with her. Paula kids were way older, but they were always in the room. She was like, we always in the room partying and stuff and smoking trees. So I don't understand what's her issue. Like, why your kids can't come over? Like, we grown. And then she was saying how she was like, my husband don't like to come over because you always over here too. Now, outside looking in, I didn't think Chicago was hindering her husband coming because, again, nobody even know you had a husband until a couple of months later that you had been there. And it was like all of a sudden he started popping up. So it was like, that's kind of weird, but I'm saying that to myself because, you know, like I try my best to stay out of people's affairs, but I'm going to listen, so I'm aware. I am, because I'm nosy. But anyway, so I was like, oh, wow. And so she was like, yeah, but did you hear the rumor about Paula and the complex manager? So at this point in time, the complex manager that I moved in to when I first moved in, he was no longer there and we had a different one. And it took him a while. It took people a while to actually warm up to him. But I ain't had no problem with him from the beginning because I follow the rules. And then I've always, like, you have to play the game smart and look beyond what you see. So if this man is here and you know, you being respectful, you following the rules when I'm in a bind. Nate. You ain't got to give your body, but you going to look out for me because I'm following the rules and I'm a good tenant. Anyway, so I was like, no, I ain't hear no rumor about the complex manager and Paula. And I was like, why would I hear a rumor about the complex manager and Paula? Paula's married. She was like, girl, no, I'm telling you, one day, he told us that we could no longer sit on the balcony. Because remember I told y'all they were sitting on the balcony. They would get their chairs and sit on the balcony. Like they were sitting on a stoop. This ain't no stoop. This is not Brooklyn. But anyway, she was like, he told us we could no longer sit on the stoop. Like they had gave him a nickname. Do I want to say the nickname? No. They had gave him a nickname, basically, you know, saying like how he was hard as far as the rules and stuff. Like he was just really hard with enforcing the rules. And that's what I don't understand. Like, if you following the rules, they don't bother you, number one. But if you want a nice place to stay, and if you throwing trash, you're not following the rules, or you not like, you got any and everybody showing up. Like, there's a certain caliber of people that you want to stay there because you want a certain neighborhood, if that makes sense. But anyway, so I was like, oh, okay. So she was like, yeah, so we can't. That's why you don't see us out there on the balcony anymore. She was like, but you know, yeah, it was some stuff going on with him and Paula, so to speak, because of how she said she felt like she got played or whatever. She was like, so, but she told me like I'm stopping her children for coming over and her husband for coming over. She was like, I just think her husband kind of weird anyway. And I was like, why is he weird? She was like, you know how you get those weird vibes from people when they come around? She was like, he weird and he barely here. How you got your husband and he barely here? I was like, girl, I don't know. And I was like, it's whatever. And I was like, you just go back to your room and be chilling like you was before. And so she was like, you right. I'm just going to mind my business. And I'm going to be in my unit like I was before. So she was like, it was good seeing you. And so she went for her unit because I think she was really doing laundry at this point in time. So after her and Paula stopped hanging out, they, you know, like I started seeing the husband more. So the husband started showing up, then the kids started showing up, and they started having like the little parties and all that stuff and the little get-togethers and stuff. To the point where it was getting on my nerves because it was like, girl, not every weekend. Like I can understand every once in a while or hear you celebrating a birthday, but every weekend you playing loud music or you know, you loud, or when you and your husband doing a do, all I hear is girl, I'm hearing you. And it's like at this point in time, I was like, that little pickle tickle, it must be not hitting on nothing because you doing a lot. Like you, it's extra. Anyway, anyway, it had been, I would say, 6 or 7 months. It might have been over a year. So this one particular night, y'all, remember I'm telling y'all, before we were the units were renovated, the walls are thin. The walls are still thin, but they're thin. So her side of the bed is meshed, like her headboard is meshed to my headboard, is my assumption, right? So I'm sitting there going, girl, and it's not what y'all think. I'm sitting there going, because they're loud talking, they're arguing, and I'm trying to I find out why you're not here all the time. So you're saying over and over, like, I'm trying to make this work, you giving me another chance, but you keep bringing up my baby mama. I was like, oh, so y'all are married, but you cheated. There's a baby. The baby at this time, if I'm not mistaken, is like, it's not like a baby, but like a toddler. It's a baby. So like 1 or 2. The baby mama name is Angel. Because all you hear her say is, I'm sick of you bringing up Angel. Every time she call your phone, every time she hit you up, like you drop everything and you run to Angel. He was like, my baby over there. So my assumption is, yeah, that's your husband, but y'all don't have any kids together. So it was like, okay. Yeah, you know, like I'm in my mind. I was like, oh, okay, so that's what makes sense of why you know, like you back and forth and we don't see you all the time. Like y'all trying to work it out. Y'all trying to work through things. And so she was like, I'm sick of it. And so she started going in on him. When I said going in, it was like a repeated, like everything she wants to get off her chest. You broke, you a bum, you dumb, you cheated on me. I can't stand you. I hate, like, when I say a roll. So, for whatever reason, I guess this particular time, because they argued a lot, this particular argument sent him over the edge. And all you heard was, and I was like, and it was quiet for a little bit, and then you hear her saying, let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go. And I was like, this is choking her. And so in my mind, because it's late and I'm asleep, Ty is home, he's asleep, Ty snoring, Ty was asleep. Ty was asleep through a goddamn tsunami. If he on the top floor and that stuff flow under him, he fine. Ty was asleep through it. Do you hear me? A full stomach, Ty will sleep through it. So he's choking her, and so I can hear it. And so I'm thinking, okay, at any point in time, he's going to let her go. At any point in time, he's going to let her go. And he's like, you can hit, like, it was like he intensified and pushed her again, because you can hit her again, and it went up another notch. I'm just throwing y'all. And it went up another notch. So I was like, at any point in time, you're going to let her go. So you can hear her say, like it's getting to that point. So I slapped the wall. Oh, that was horrible. I slapped it because I didn't want to throw y'all no more. I slapped the wall. And when I slapped the wall, he let go. Because at this point in time, like I said, they have been arguing. They argue all the time. So it's late at night. So you assume that nobody's listening, or the walls are where nobody can hear, is what your assumption is. My assumption. So when I slapped the wall, you let her go. How I know? I hear her. He was like, why do you do that? Why you do that? You see what you made me do? You see what you made me do? In my mind, I'm saying, girl, run. Run. But so once she finally get her air and her stuff together, this girl said, "Kill me, kill me, kill me, mother, kill me. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of living. I'm tired of going through this. I'm ugly. You don't want me. You done cheated on me. Kill me." Girl, if I knew you had a girl, you sound stupid right now. And I truly believe like you pumped up because you realized like, oh, somebody can hear you, so I got some backup. So now I'm gonna back up. Like you got one of them dudes who I can beat you as long as nobody don't know. Now if you had one of the ones who didn't give who didn't care, you wouldn't even been here. You would have went on to the upper room. But he was one of the ones who like, oh, I don't want nobody to know. Like I'm this type of person. So he was like, I gotta get out of here. So he opened the door and slammed it. So that like we put like you can either put your deadbolt out or it's like for the top lock, like you can put that little piece out to like keep your door open, because once you close the door it automatically locks like that anyway. So you can tell like they put their deadbolt out, the top lock out, not the deadbolt, because every time they go in and out the door, like you can feel it, boop 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 boop. They going back and forth because once he left, you walking out and you, oh, I'm glad you leave. It's like, girl, he left. Lay down, chill out, let your throat rest, because he was literally about to choke you out. He was choking you out, not about to. He was choking you out. So it was like, girl, like what? So at this point, in time, they woke up Tyler with I think like the third or fourth boop boop boop, because you're shaking the room, like because you're slamming the door. I don't know how the upstairs neighbors or your other neighbors on the other side didn't say nothing, but a lot of times people don't say anything. No, I'm that neighbors is gonna say something, because if I'm paying for stuff, I need my joint to be peaceful as all it can get, as all it can get out. As I'll get out, I need my joint to be peaceful. Period. If I'm paying for it. Don't get me wrong. I know there's an understanding for certain things, but when you going overboard, and I know you going overboard, you pushing it like like stop playing in my face. Stop playing in my face. Yeah, you're gonna be reported. Anyway, so at this point, like after the 50th boom, 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 I said, "Hey!" It went quiet for a little bit. Then that stopped. I guess you got the inkling. Maybe let me sit down at one point or something. I don't know. Anyway, so it was like, dang. So, but everything went quiet. I guess he went wherever he was gonna go. You went in your unit and laid down and chilled out. The next morning, you hear her say, "Girl, he tried to kill me. Girl, he tried to kill me." He did. I'm not even gonna belittle it. He did try to take you out. But the simple fact of once he let go and he walked out of the room, you went after him and went and started antagonizing the man. When you should have chilled out and leave him alone. Child, a week later, guess who back? The husband. Y'all trying to work it out. Y'all trying to go through things. Y'all did this back and forth. It was like one good week, y'all good. Y'all breaking the bed down. Next good week, y'all fighting. Next good week, y'all breaking the bed down. Next good week, y'all fighting. Finally, it got to the point where, because the rumor had got so bad about the complex manager, he was like, I'm sick of that, because people, like it had spread around the complex. And people was asking him about, he was like, did you hear this rumor? I was like, is the rumor true? Because I'm that type, because you started calling her like my sister. And I was like, if that's my sister, that's your girlfriend. Because they said like you beat it down. I ain't never did that. I ain't never did that. I was like, just letting you know. So he was like, oh, no. So he was like, I'm going to fix that. So the next time, like, her husband showed up, because he called her husband Little Bill. He did look like Little Bill, child. But he was like, I ain't got no disrespect for that man. That man walk wherever he need to walk to go to work, to provide for that lady and go above and beyond. So next time that dude come in, I'm gonna let him know. So according to him, the manager, he was like, he's not there anymore. The manager was like, hey, when you not here, your wife be flirting with me and all this other stuff, etc., etc. He was like, check your wife. And I was like, boy, you about to get that lady a death wish. He was like, I don't care. Anyway, but yeah, so it was like, finally, to be totally honest, that might have been, was that before COVID? That might have been during COVID. It might have been during COVID. It was either during COVID or like right at, no, it was during COVID. So it was during COVID when this happened. They finally stopped dealing with each other completely that I know of. What's this month? I would say March. I think March of this year. Like, he had got scarce again. And then March, he was like, he's completely gone. Like, I haven't seen him since March of this year. So I'm assuming it's over. Or maybe she moved. I don't know. Because she moved out of the unit next to me and moved somewhere else. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, that's the story time of the neighbor's abuse. I love you the mostest because you're definitely the dopest in real life, and I'll see you in the next one. The reason why I'm shaking my head because I'm looking at the time on my phone and I'm not understanding because I move videos. On the other hand, all talk, all seriousness, if you are being abused, get out. I know it's easier said than done, but you deserve better. Please stop focusing on looking at what you think is ideal. Or if that person is continually threatening you, find the paperwork, the proper protocol to get out. Put paper on them, put paper on them, put paper on them, put paper on them constantly. I know paper doesn't guarantee a lot of stuff, but if you have paper on them, you are protecting yourself. Move as far away as possible as you can to get away. Find state laws. Find a state that is more into protecting you. And this is for men and women, and not just women, men and women. Find states that are willing to protect you, that are going above and beyond to make sure you are safe. Get out. Protect you and your children. Get out. Domestic violence, mental abuse, none of that is cool at all. Please remove yourself. I love you the most because you're definitely the dopest in real life, and I'll see you in the next one.